Hey, I have my questions and answers. Should I whisper? Whispering's that part of me, that subdued part, that part that thinks through life and the journey. And then I have another part of me which is excited and passionate and rebellious and so fast. I have such a fast personality. But that's why we have ASMR, isn't it? Because it's that part of us we all need. Questions and answers video. Many of you have asked for it, so here it is. Are you ready? I suggest that you go and get a cup of tea. If your wheel burns, you'll get a muffin. Get a cup of tea, pause this and come back and let's have a chat. I would so love to do this in real life. First question. Bodhi, thank you. What do you love most about ASMR? That's kind of saying, what do I love most about chocolate? What do I love most about the ocean? What do I love most about a pot of dolphins sailing through the air? ASMR has changed my life so completely and utterly that it is beyond description. It defies explanation. ASMR has slowed me down enough for me to think about what gives life meaning. ASMR has slowed me down enough to start the journey of accepting myself and who I am. ASMR has brought me back into touch with the senses. ASMR has introduced me to beautiful people. So many beautiful people. ASMR has given me a community of friends. ASMR has given me so much clarity. ASMR has reminded me of how important it is for us to have a foundation of morals, of beliefs, of ethics. And more than anything, ASMR has taught me to accept not only everyone else, but to accept myself. Before ASMR, before I knew ASMR, of course, I thought that I was extremely strange, extremely eccentric. And all through my primary years especially, I knew I was very different. And this worried me. I wanted to be just like everyone else. And I wasn't just like anyone else at all. So when I got in touch with the community with such amazing souls, there's so many, I realized that it's okay to be very sensitive to life. It's okay to be artistic. It's okay to have your own method of self-expression. It's okay to feel the senses, to embrace nature, the environment. It's okay to be excited about existence. And it's okay to be different to other people. It's okay not to be a sheep. How's that for an answer, Bodhi? Ryan Lee. What does your daily diet consist of? Serious question. You know, most of you know that I am a qualified personal trainer and a qualified counsellor, and I have 2 degrees, Masters in Counselling and Honours degree Anthropology. I am very, very interested in eating well and maintaining a healthy lifestyle. I have been since the age of about 11 because I realised that with my fast brain, and so fast, if I ate well, then I was happier. And I saw that direct connection. And if I went running, then I could think more clearly and felt happier. If I didn't drink alcohol, I could think more clearly and I felt happier. It's funny, on one of my recent videos, someone put a comment asking if I was on drugs. And that's so funny because I don't take any drugs at all. But it's funny because I can't handle cochineal, which is red food colouring, let alone anything harder. Life is a drug to me. It's a serious drug. Life. The ocean. The sun. So, I eat for breakfast. I might have porridge or a protein drink. The protein I have is plant-based. I really watch my saturated and trans fats. I really watch my sugars. I have a balanced diet, a lot of berries, and I drink silica each day. I'm a big believer in silica. I make sure I have some meat because I think meat's really important for a number of reasons. That is a whole video in itself. I used to believe in the low carb method, and as I've got older, I've realised that being very lean is not good for the skin, and it's not a good look. So now I have a lot of fruit as well, and I really go for the superfoods and the foods that help promote happiness and balance. I think balance is really important in foods, but trans fats is one I'm really anti, and I'm really anti phenylalanine. So I'm very careful that the children don't have any phenylalanine, aspartame. And I have some strong beliefs about the pineal gland as well. So that's a whole new area. I'm being too excited, aren't I? I've got to bring it down a notch. Okay. Sit down or lie down comfortably. I'm in a good mood today. Thanks for watching. How's your cup of tea? Okay, next question. Andrew Broom, what are some of the biggest impacts or changes you have seen people experience as a result of ASMR? Well, great question. I find ASMR is kind of like a bridge, and on one side you've got two cliffs and a valley in between. On one side you have uncertainty, anxiety, lack of clarity, lack of self-awareness, lack of confidence. The bridge is ASMR. On the other side you have the possibility of clarity, direction, sensual satisfaction. When I say sensual, ears, taste, eyes, the ability to appreciate our senses. So ASMR gives us a bridge between not knowing and knowing. Once we work through that bridge, then everything becomes possible. Happiness, clarity, direction, being in the moment. And ASMR forms that absolutely essential springboard bridge. I think that I see from so many letters that through ASMR people realize their worth. They realize there are methods to reduce anxiety. No miracles, methods that suit a lot of people. That we have control or a level of control over our feelings, and that we can choose not to give that control away. So ASMR is a doorway to spiritual growth, to wisdom, to friendship, to love, to being comfortable with self, to being comfortable by yourself. Oh, you can hear my tummy. I'm not going to edit that out. Okay, next question. Laura, you relax so many people. What relaxes you most in life apart from ASMR? Hugs. Hugs back to you, Laura. Lots of hugs. What relaxes me? This relaxes me, what we're doing right now. I love doing this. I feel in my whole brain, soul, spirit that you are right here and I'm communicating with you now. And it feels good. I love to walk. I love to meditate. I love to do yoga. I love to watch movies with the kids. I love to smell my children's heads. I love being with a friend and talking about the meaning of life. I love watching the ocean. I love a good cup of tea. I love the wind. I love the rain. I love breathing. I love hearing laughter. How's that? I love doing headstands. I love lifting weights. I love you, Laura. Okay, Carly, Mildred. For us with children here, we know we have ASMR in us, but does it show up in our children? Okay. There is some research, there's nothing definitive yet, but there's some research that indicates that ASMR may be linked to production of oxytocin levels. And there's other, melatonin, serotonin, but let's look at oxytocin, which is the cuddle hormone. Now we know that if we cuddle our children a lot in childhood, they're more likely to produce high levels of oxytocin levels as a teen or an adult. Not always, there can be issues, but more likely to. So the more we hug our children, the more likely they will experience ASMR. Now, little disclaimer here, there's a lot of research also to show that certain types of people naturally don't have high oxytocin levels. And I think that some people just genetically have the gift of ASMR. So that's a conversation or a topic we could really have around a round table and all sort of think about what ASMR is and what sort of people feel it. 2 of my children definitely feel it. The other 2 I'm not sure. I think that we can possibly do things with our children to help them feel it, such as when you have an apple, before you eat the apple, smell the apple. Really close your eyes and smell that apple. When you cut the apple, enjoy the sensation of the cut and feeling the fleshy fruit of the apple. When you taste it, close your eyes and notice the texture as you break the apple down and chew it, and then appreciate the chewing with everything off, even the lights off. Maybe not the lights off, that's a bit strange. But really get into the sensation of the fruit. And if you teach your children to enjoy each sense, music, turn everything else off. Listen to the music. Take the music in, smell the music. You can teach yourself to experience the senses. And likewise, if we get really distracted by life, we can lose or compromise the ability to feel each sense in its purest form. So when we eat, sit down at the table and focus on the food, focus on the gift, focus on the experience, focus on the aromas, focus on the simplicity. I think that can help. Did I answer a question or did I just create a lot more questions? And of course, we need research, don't we? Okay. Larry Graves, will you ever visit Canada? I want to visit you, Larry, of course, very much, and have a cuppa with you and a really long conversation about everything, the world. I love traveling. I love traveling. I love culture. I think I've told you before that I did an honours degree arts with an honours in anthropology. And I love culture, all sorts of culture. So I've studied a lot of different cultures. And when I experience a new culture, I love it. When I went to South America, it was to die for, all the amazing people and their stories and the architecture and the way they lived and the way they ate and the way they shared food. And then I met the Brazilians and just amazing, amazing. I would love to travel everywhere. I've always been like that, but then I had children and that stopped the travel pretty quickly. I not only want to get back to travel, but I know that it is in my waters, in my soul, in my tummy, in my heart, in my head. I love to travel, meet people, sit down, have cuppas and talk about life, what we can do, what life's about, God, etc. So, Canada, yes, right up there. Okay. Megan Young, what aspects of faith and religion or spirituality do you believe in? Whoa, that's a big question, isn't it? I believe in God. I really believe 100% in God. Now, what is God? How do we define God? How do we really know? And if we feel we really know God, then we know everything. And if we know everything, what is there to life? It's a journey. So I want to know God. That's a process. If I truly knew God, I would be enlightened. So my journey is to know God. I have different theories. They may be right, they may not. I don't know. Because it's a journey. I believe that God is within each one of us and that we as souls represent like grains of sand or drops in the ocean. And the ocean is God and we are droplets within that ocean. And that is what our life is about. And I feel if we want to define it more than that, we lose the ability to truly appreciate life because we want to put life in a box that we can mark with a cross. We need to be open to the beauty of life. We're only starting to know about so many interesting areas of life. I believe it would be closing ourselves off by deciding which religion is right and what God does. I believe in God and I'm open to that interpretation as long as that interpretation includes environment, community, working towards not hurting others with a realistic view of self, looking at self. I was brought up as a Catholic. Then I became a Christian. I have very strong elements of Hinduism and Buddhism and other areas as well. I'm very, very into the environment and the power of nature. So I guess you could say there's some Wicca elements there as well. I'm concerned about any beliefs that negate a religion, unless that religion is about lack of safety, lack of communal or spiritual safety. I think that we need to support each other. I could say so much more there. Okay. Steve, Seaside Whispers. Thanks, Steve. If you could live in another country, where would that be and why? Whoa. I'll tell you something, a secret. Shh. It's not going to be a secret any longer, is it? I love Australia. I love Australia. I love Australia. I would like to have a second home overseas. I would really like that. And turning 50 this year, I think it's time for me to stop saying I would like that and rather saying I will have that. Because it is essential that we believe in ourselves, and if we want a dream to come true, we need to do everything possible to make that dream reality. And that starts with overriding 150% conviction in yourself. So I would like to live in two countries. I have felt that way for many years. And that is evidenced. I've been engaged to two Englishmen. I married one. So that's kind of evidence, I suppose, that I wanted to travel. I lived in England for a good part of a year in London and also Macclesfield. I also lived in Greece. I loved living in London. I worked as an aerobics instructor at Cannons, the gym. I loved living in Greece. I've also been in South America, and I think that South America really suits my personality because I'm very passionate, very full on. I hold back in videos. I hold back a lot. I'm just starting to be myself, and it is freaking some people out. But it's not going to stop. I'm going to keep being me. And that's a process like an onion, taking off the layers of the onion and seeing what's exciting underneath. South America, I have a love of South America. I would love to live in Puerto Aguazu, Costa Rica. I haven't been there yet, but it looks beautiful. Peru. I'd love a house on the banks of the river overlooking Brazil in Puerto Aguazu. That is my dream. There you go. But I love traveling and I need to travel. It's in my soul. Okay. Thank you, Steve. John Bauer. What kind of music do you like? Oh, depends what moment of the day it is. I like music. Dido, Elvis, AC/DC, Deep Purple, Pink Floyd, Beatles, Don McLean, Sade. I could go on and on and on. I like music to express my soul at that time, so it's always different. I love music, but I love music without talk. I love music where you just listen. I love dingy bars where you sit down at the back of the bar and there's an acoustic guitarist at the front, slouched over his guitar, singing. And there's all different types of characters in the bar. And I sit with someone talking about the meaning of life until 4 in the morning. I love live bands, love it. And I love talking to different people in the bars, meeting random people and asking them about their story. Oh, John Turner, you had a question. Where is it? I didn't get it on the email. Graham Griffiths, do I miss the UK? Yes, I do miss the UK. I loved Northern England, Liverpool, Manchester, Macclesfield. I loved North England very much. I loved London. That's about all I got to. So loved UK. I would love to come back. And you know, all of you, that I love speaking in public. I love speaking in public so much. And I'm working very, very, very hard to make it happen. I've been thinking for a long time, since my marriage ending, what career I'll take on that can sustain us and do all that. And after trying different things and looking at different careers, I've decided that my springboard will be YouTube, and I'd like to get back into running retreats, seminars, workshops, and speaking with YouTube as the springboard to that. So I'll be working towards that. And one of you said to me, thank you so much. One of Jim said, don't overdo it. When I produce videos, I love it so much. It is so relaxing and so exciting and so wonderful for my heart. So YouTube will be the springboard to my career. Okay. Have you ever hugged a piglet? Well, we bought a pig once when we were on the farm, and that pig got very big. And we used to try and hug him, but he was a bit of a menace. He would get out and run around, and he was huge. Do you know pigs are really, really strong? So I don't think he was really huggable, but we liked him. Okay, Beth, before you heard about the ASMR community, what was your personal concept of the phenomenon? I knew that I was very sensitive to sensual stimulation, touch, sound, etc. And as a child, and a fairly lacking confidence child, I didn't feel good about the feelings I had. I felt weird. I felt eccentric. I knew my brain worked a little bit differently to everyone else's. There wasn't a good feeling how I felt about my ASMR abilities. And then from there, I launched myself into university and then launched myself into travel, launched myself into marriage. And there wasn't a lot of getting to know myself. I spend a lot of time in the fitness industry, which is very ego focused. and I really enjoyed that industry. So although it gave a lot to me in health, it took me off the path of self-awareness. There was a lot it gave me. So it was only really when my marriage ended, the gift of the marriage ended, is that I started looking on the internet for peace. And Ilsa approached me, and then I found Jennifer and Maria and so many others, too many to name. I'd like to name you all. And I started to find peace, and I started to find myself, and I started to feel good about myself. And then I started to think ego is not as important. And then I started to think, but ego has a role to play, and there needs to be a fine line between them. And then I started to explore what is happiness, and I decided that happiness is not what we want. What we want, happiness is high. And when we have heightened sensation, we lose the ability to be in the moment. We want peace, the ability to look down on life with some level of detachment, the ability to love unconditionally by looking down at the relationship. Now that's a journey. I haven't got there. Okay. What are your favorite things to eat? Chocolate. Chocolate. Fruit. I love fruit. Chocolate. 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 Did you hear that one? Okay. Angela Walters, if you could spend a day with 3 people, alive or deceased, who would they be and why? Okay. Secrets. Elvis Presley. I've had a crush on Elvis Presley all my life. I don't tell many people that. I've watched all his movies many times, and I was a real romantic when I was younger. So I loved watching him. I just thought he was so handsome. And then when he died, I really wanted to go back in time and save him. I wanted to give him healthy food and make his sandwiches and look after him, keep all the people that influenced him away. I loved his music. I used to listen to it again and again, but the movies, I was really into Elvis movies. So I'd like to go back and save Elvis. Helen Keller. I adore Helen Keller because she learnt to appreciate the senses. You must read about Helen Keller. She's amazing. She learnt to love life without seeing and hearing. How's that for ASMR? Ellen DeGeneres. I adore Ellen, and I would want more than anything to meet Ellen. I think she's just an awesome, standalone, empowered, amazing woman. John Lennon. I would like to meet John Lennon. Jim Carrey. I have a crush on Jim Carrey. I have an absolute die-hard crush on Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey, if you ever watch this, I would love to meet you. Jim Carrey is spiritual, he's funny, he's eccentric, he's unusual, and we share very similar spiritual beliefs. And he was lost and then found himself, and he's lovely. Okay, I would like to meet Jesus Christ. I would like to say to Jesus Christ, I think you're so strong that when everyone asked you to denounce your belief and denounce that you're the Son of God, I would like to say you're amazing, that you did not denounce your faith. And he must have been so terrified. I would love to hold his hand. That would be absolutely wonderful. Will, can I talk about the muffins? Will Burns sends me lovely messages about bringing me muffins. And it's a way of showing that he knows I work very, very hard and have very little time to myself. And he just knows that. So he sends a message on Facebook, on the internet, or an email, Google Plus, saying, here's a muffin. I sneak across your desk. And it's a way of saying, I care about you and I know you're working very hard and I acknowledge you as a person. So from here, I'm going to try and systemize my channel a little bit more. I absolutely love interacting with my viewers. It's a very, very important part of the process for me. I want to come overseas to meet with you. I will come overseas and meet with you. I have had a hiccup lately. Something occurred when I came back. I will get through that. And I am so excited and so happy and so delighted to be part of this community. And I feel like I'm a firecracker about to go off with excitement with life. I missed one question. from Jason Caples. Jason, you ask me, where are the Iguazu Falls? And that's a private joke between us because I have wanted to go to the Iguazu Falls for so many years. Oh, 9 years, I think. I've been fascinated with the Iguazu Falls, which if you've been following me, you'll know that. And it's been a dream to go, but somehow I thought they were randomly in Peru or somewhere like that. I have a couple of very close girlfriends, Philippa and Megan, who love South America, and that's always inspired me to go to South America. When we were young, those two girls went to South America and I went to England, and I thought I must get to South America. But I thought the Iguazu Falls were in Peru. So it was a joke with Jason because he's very good with his geography, and I'm not. So I realized about 8 months ago when I decided to go, or I thought about it last year. I was pretty sure last year I really wanted to develop my idea of the retreats. So I decided to go to Iguazu Falls and then realized, well, they're in Argentina on the border of Brazil, and I wasn't aware of that. So yes, Jason, I've worked out now where the Iguazu Falls are, and I can't wait to go back to them so much. I dream about the Iguazu Falls. They have changed my life. Speak soon.